On this episode of Cinema Disaster, we're going to be talking about the 1984 post-apocalyptic film, Night of the Comet. This film has been described as Night of the Living Dead meets Valley Girl. This movie is a lot of fun, and if you're into like post-apocalyptic science fiction, like The Omega Man or Dawn of the Dead, this is definitely the movie for you. It takes place the day before Christmas in Los Angeles. And there's going to be this comet flying really close to Earth. So close that the Earth is actually going to be passing through the comet's tail. It's the first time this has happened in 65 million years. And the last time it happened, it coincided with the extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. Well, everyone in Los Angeles is out partying, and they're all out ready to see this comet come by Earth. What happens is, as the Earth passes through the tail of the comet, it turns everybody into this like red dust and pretty much kills almost everyone on the face of the planet. So the only people that survived turn into these like brain dead zombie type things that attack human beings and stuff like that. There were actually a couple of survivors, which are the two main characters of the film. One is a character by the name of Reggie, who's played by Catherine Mary Stewart, who you might know from The Last Starfighter or the movie Dudes. Then you have her sister named Sam, who's played by Kelly Maroney, who you know from probably Chopping Mall or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And the only reason they survived was that Reggie was staying the night in this movie theater, having sex with her boyfriend. And Sam spent the night in like the shed or something. I don't remember exactly, but she ends up surviving. When Catherine Mary Stewart's character comes out of the theater, she gets attacked by this zombie, and she ends up going home and seeing if Sam is still alive, which she is, and these two don't know what's going on. They notice that like everybody in the street, all there is like piles of red dust that's with clothing, and they realize that something really fucked up has happened. So they're listening to the radio, and so they end up going to the local radio station because they think that the DJ may have survived. But when they get there, they just find a recording. When they end up meeting this guy named Hector, who is another survivor. And so they have to decide like what the fuck they're going to do in this scenario, because they're the only three people left on Earth, and there's all these zombies that are trying to attack them. What they don't realize, though, is there are these scientists that have been exposed to this, I don't know what it is, if it's a virus, some kind of a sickness, but they weren't totally exposed to the comet, so they didn't turn to dust, but they're getting sicker and sicker, and they're going to turn eventually into these zombies and then into dust. So they're trying to find a cure for this disease or sickness or whatever. And some of the scientists are not to be trusted. One of them is played by Mary Warnoff, who plays Audrey White. One of them is played by Jeffrey Lewis, who plays Dr. Carter. Chris Peterson from Suburbia and Twin Peaks is in this film. Also, Dick Rude is in this film, who made this documentary in 2004 called Let's Rock Again, which was about the final tour of Joe Strummer from The Clash. He was also in a bunch of other great films, Straight to Hell and Sid and Nancy, which are two Alex Cox films. He was in Roadside Prophets, Repo Man. Anyway, this movie is a ton of fun, and it has a really great look to it, because I'm not sure how they did the effect, but there's a red haze to the sky, and it gives it a really great post-apocalyptic look. It was released by Atlantic Releasing Corporation because they were looking to cash in on the success of movies like Repo Man and Valley Girl. Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street, auditioned for the role of Sam, but the part went to Kelly Maroney. The VHS was released in 1985, which it then gained this huge cult following that it still has to this day. Shout Factory, which is they're killing it as far as like releasing these old B movies and these classic horror and science fiction films. They did a collector's edition Blu-ray release of this in 2013. This character also inspired Joss Whedon to create the character Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This movie has a really B-movie feel to it. It was shot on a low budget, which I think makes the movie look a lot cooler. And once again, if you're a fan of post-apocalyptic sci-fi or horror, movies like The Omega Man, Dawn of the Dead, Valley Girl, Repo Man, definitely check this out. It's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's definitely got its mix of humor as well as a horror factor to it. So make sure you check out Night of the Comet, and until next time, keep watching.